Oh, I didn't forget about the Real Housewives of Dubai reunion part one. I just glad I waited because as always, I love to rewatch the episode, and we've been talking about the Real Housewives of Dubai since the beginning. But before we even get into that, of course, I can already see you guys. Disclaimer, reminder. Our recap of the Real Housewives of Dubai, we've been posting a disclaimer, letting and reminding people that here at myself, the Kempire LLC, YouTube, all of you that are watching, we are consistently reminding you that we do not support the UAE's history of misogyny, homophobia, and human rights violations. And everything that I say in this video is just my opinion. A lot of it's meant for entertainment, and some of it shade. So thank you guys for the reminder. I was already thinking. Okay. So the Real Housewives of Dubai ratings, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills ratings, I didn't get a chance to talk about it in my recap yesterday. If you missed my recap of the episode yesterday, I also talked about the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City season 3 trailer. So be sure to check that out. And I did a Kanye video last night. Check that out too. He's since deleted all of those posts. See why I have to go with my instincts? I can't wait till the next day to post certain things. So, Real Housewives of Dubai. At the top, as you know, we already did a recap of the fashion, but I kind of always want to recap the fashion again because now we're seeing the fashion in movement. And I'm not changing my stance on Caroline Brooks's reunion look. I still think it was fun to look at. I thought she came with the drama. What she could have worked on, a lot, I agree, a lot of you pointed this out in the photo, the undergarment part where the slit is, I don't think there should have been a slit maybe, and that way you wouldn't see that, or maybe it should have been a different color. Caroline Brooks, I don't hate Caroline Stanbury's outfit. I just feel like that's not the outfit for this particular event. But in all fairness, she says at the top of the reunion, she was on Ladies of London for 3 seasons and they never had a reunion. So but we've had 20 years of reunions. Take notes. Anyways, so I still like Brooks's ensemble for the drama of it all. Caroline Stanbury, though, the makeup, I don't know who did your makeup. It felt like it was so caked on. Like, I don't think Caroline Stanbury is an ugly woman. I felt like during the season we had some really pretty moments, especially during her wedding. And I was like, whoever did your makeup for that should have done your makeup for this. It just felt so caked on. It actually made her look a lot more evil. Not to say that she is, but to me, the whole black that she was wearing and the makeup, it made her look more sinister. And maybe that was the intention. Nina still looked really great, but Nina, were you with us in this reunion? We'll get to Nina in a few seconds. Sarah, I still don't love the outfit. It's not an ugly outfit, but the hair make it like she's a beautiful woman, because that's some good work, and she's admitted to getting work. Caroline Brooks they should have brought that up during the reunion. What about all the shady things that Caroline Brooks said, in her confessionals? This whole kumbaya moment that they're having during the reunion and the gang up, it's not entertaining. I know they probably have this whole view of what Housewives is, but Real Housewives is shady, fun moments where the ladies actually do enjoy each other. They may shade each other, they may not love each other, but they are co-workers. So even after reunion, they all can come together and be like, you know what? We did this together. We shared a moment together. We are part of a sorority that no one else is. And especially because this is happening in Dubai versus a city here in the United States. But no, they're just being mean girls. And to me, that doesn't set you up for a great experience. It doesn't set you up for a great season 2. But anyways, let me stick to my notes. Oh, I didn't talk about the ratings. Sorry, y'all. It's okay. Normally during our lives, I'm all over the place anyway. That's all right. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills ratings, over 1 million viewers. They're very consistent with their ratings. I'm not sure why. I told you I'm about to check out because I'm over all of the gang up that's happening on Beverly Hills. But that's been happening for a couple of seasons now. Dubai's ratings were up this week. They were over 500 and something. I think it was like 540 something thousand live viewers. Again, keep in mind this is live viewers. This is the United States. The show is also seen in Dubai, which they talk about during the reunion, and it's seen in other parts of the world where Real Housewives is not seen. All right. Speaking of disclaimers, at the top of this reunion, before we even get into the disclaimer, at the top of this reunion, Naomi Campbell calls. You saw that from the trailer. And we get to see how it all plays out. Andy's literally getting ready for the reunion. Caroline Stanbury, true tourist, always on time. She's the first one out. And then right behind her is right behind her is Ayan. So Ayan comes out with all the fashion and looking amazing. Still love her fashion. And Naomi Campbell calls. Obviously, there's a friendship between Naomi Campbell and Andy Cohen. She's been on Watch What Happens Live multiple times. She's part of the glitterati in New York City. So, and of course, Andy runs in those circles. So she calls him, and that's when he's like, I'm here with Ayan. They've known each other for years. Are they besties? No, but they're in the modeling world. So for people that like to downplay Ayan's modeling career, including myself, I've downplayed it a little bit because I feel like it could have been a lot bigger. I feel like it should have been a lot bigger. But she literally books Ayan on the spot. First of all, she talks about how great Ayan is doing on the show. She also talks about, she's like, don't let those ladies ruffle your feathers. I love Naomi Campbell. But she's a Housewives fan, and she loves Ayan, and she booked October 25th, Ayan, Qatar. I hope we get footage from that. Well, they're not going to start filming in October, despite what rumors are saying. That's not what I hear, according to my sources. That's not happening in October. That's probably not going to happen till the end of this year. So Naomi says, you're the best part of the show. Mind you, this is all playing out as Caroline Stanbury. Like, this is just the karmic gods. The karmic gods that are coming for Caroline Stanbury, and how pressed and bothered she is by Ayan. Naomi Campbell calls, and mind you, Andy looks over to Caroline Stanbury. This is not a setup. No, this is the karmic gods setup. Okay, so we have that moment, and she books her. She says, "You're the best part of the show." Caroline Stanbury's over in her seat like this. It's your own karma. You've been bothered even before the show started. Said action. You've been bothered since then. But it's okay. You can have a season 2 and redeem yourself just by being yourself and not being bothered by getting engaged. No, not that kind of engagement. I mean, like, engaged with the cast. You're already married. Okay, so at the top of this, I feel like Bravo, because they never responded to, look, and they don't have to respond, but as you know, we did a report before the show even started airing that these multiple civil rights groups came out and called out Bravo for filming the show in the UAE, filming the show in Dubai because of their long history. Bravo, Andy Cohen are all named in this open letter. We covered it. Check it out if you missed it. And they never responded. And that was part of the reason why we decided to put a disclaimer, because it's one of the things that they asked Bravo to do, but Bravo never did it. Of course not. Because although there may have been rumors that the show was paid for by the government of the UAE, I don't think we believe, at least us, not our community, we didn't believe that the UAE was paying for the show. What we do believe, though, is that the UAE gets final look at what you're putting on this show before it even airs. Okay? They're not paying for the show, but they are definitely influencing what you put on the show. But of course, Bravo, NBC Universal, they have to do their damage control. And that's what they do at the very beginning when all the ladies come out and they're sitting down and he's saying hello to everyone. Oh, one thing I will say, I know a lot of you did not love Brooks's look, but that hair and makeup, Brooks, your skin was it was glowing, okay? I feel like everyone's hair and makeup was pretty good, except Caroline Stanbury. I feel like everyone else's hair and makeup was pretty solid. Caroline Stanbury was just like, where are we going? Like, she looked better during the season than at your reunion. Anyways. So they talk about everything that goes along with talking about the show not being funded by the government. They also talk about the misconceptions of living in the UAE. And we talked about that as well when we were talking about the hypocrisy of America and believing that everything is perfect here in America. However, we understand that it's not, especially growing up as black people in America when it comes to gun control and everything that's happening with gun control in America. No one's even talking about Vivaldi anymore. In Texas, where all those children were killed, no one's talking about that. So a lot of the women say they feel very safe in America. And Lesa opens up about how, her brother died at the hands of gun violence and how she feels safer in Dubai. However, she also reminds us that there aren't a lot of black people in their position in Dubai. She's the only black mother at her school. And Caroline Brooks says, yep, I'm the only black mother at my school. So those are the realities of living in Dubai. And Andy, brings up, because we talked about this when Brooks was like, oh, they love us here. And we were all like, no, they don't. No, they don't. I said, if anything, it's not about them loving black people. It's them loving Americans over, because we already know plenty of Africans that are not treated well in the UAE. But they also talk about PDA. And these are the moments that I can truly appreciate Sarah, because she explains that the rule against PDA. So first of all, they said PDA is not just a homosexual thing. It's everyone thing. A man and a woman are not allowed to show PDA in the UAE. And Sarah explains that the reason for that is not a religious thing. It is to be respectful of all religions and cultures so that another person wouldn't be offended. And I said, But all of you that live in the UAE, thank God, Kempire worldwide over here, you'll chime in and let me know, is that true, or is she just saying that because the show is bought and paid by the UAE? I don't like to take things as 100%, but when she said it, I said, well, okay, I can appreciate that. No country is perfect. No country is perfect. No place, no government is perfect, especially here in the United States. Our government is far from perfect. They even talk about, Ayan brought up the whole Roe versus Wade situation that happened here. That has been overturned. People are fighting for abortion rights right now as we speak in 2022. What? Our elections are coming up, guys. Voting matters. I'm not going to tell you how to vote, but keep in mind, don't get so comfortable in your, oh, my state's fine. Yeah, right now. But it's not just about you. It's about us as a people. Not me talking about politics. Let's move on. But to me, that is not talking about politics. To me, it's just reminding you of taking advantage of your rights here in America and voting. Go vote. Voting is coming up. We just had primaries in New York. We have voting coming up very soon. It's September. Happy fall. It's not fall yet, and it's definitely not feeling like fall. But it's September. Can you believe it? I know kids are going back to school. And don't forget, guys, we are doing Kempire's Back to School. I will post the link in the description of this video. Let's help fulfill teachers' wish lists. We've been reaching out to teachers. We already have our list, so don't try and email us now. I apologize, but I don't apologize. I gave you guys enough a heads up. And we have a lot of teachers, and there are plenty of teachers that we can help during this time. I'm going to post the link in the description here. Let's help these teachers fulfill their wish list for back to school. Because as you know, teachers in America have to pay for all of their supplies and the fun activities that they have in the classroom. That doesn't make sense to me either. But here we are. All right, so they talk about those things at the top. They also talk about the backlash that the show received. Remember, and this is before we knew anything really about Sarah and Caroline Brooks. But they were the first ones to come out and respond to the backlash that they were receiving. And I was like, oh, I think I like these girls. And look, we'll see in season 2. Look, I've turned a page with Drew Sidora, kind of, but kind of, sort of. But I have an open mind. But I also watch these shows for fun. I don't know these people. Just saying. I'm not trying to be friends with these people, and I've said that before. Brooks, you already know I'm not trying to be friends with you. If it naturally happens, okay. I don't know if it's happening, no, Caroline Brooks. Definitely not happening with Sarah. We'll talk about Sarah trying to sue people for calling you preachy. So, what would you do if I lived in Dubai? Probably try and get me locked up. I don't like that. We'll get back to that. We'll get back to that. Let's move on. So they do, everyone's package and things like that, and they do Caroline Stanbury's package, and she lets us know they're really, right now the timeline for them having a baby is not until after she moves into her new home. And I love looking at homes. So that part of me is like, damn, she needs to come back so I can see that home. I need Nina to come back so I can see her home. Damn. She does have a prenup with Sergio. Of course she does. She's no fool. And she has more money than he does. And it's not, and all of you that swear that Caroline Stanbury has all of this money, okay, just because you see someone hang out with people with money, just because you believe because she's white and because of what you saw on Ladies of London that she has a lot of money, y'all need to stop that. Because the way that she is influencing already shows me signs, and according to sources, that money is not as long as you think. Is she poor? No. But all of you that swear you love to call these black women broke and try to figure out how they get so rich, you need to take a look at your own inner prejudices and stereotypes. Just saying. Just saying. I mean, every once in a while I was like, wait a second. I'm not going to sit here and automatically think. And the same with Sergio. Okay, let's talk about Sergio's football career. And I love that Chanel was Chanel, well, I do know the housewives do watch our recaps. We have talked about Sergio's soccer career multiple times during our recaps. And I had to say, I didn't Google schmoogle, and then I did, and then all of you called in and chimed in. Look, he is not a Messi. He's not one of those top soccer players, and he didn't play that long. Did he make $1 million from being a soccer player? I don't even think so, because he wasn't even a top tier soccer player. Yes, he was on the bench, and the way the ladies were trying to chime in, you can clearly tell that these ladies met before this. The four ladies, Caroline Stanbury, Brooks, Nina, and Sarah, they were like, we're gonna get Lesa and Chanel. It was clear. You guys made it too obvious. And sidebar, I don't watch Caroline Stanbury's vlogs. However, I happened to watch the one when they were here in New York, and I got to see the one with Caroline Brooks, and that was the only reason why I watched, because I was like, oh, they're here in New York. I want to see if there's anything to pay attention to, and I'm glad that I did. Caroline Brooks basically says, oh yeah, I don't remember her exact words, but basically she confirmed that they met up and they were like meeting to figure out their game plan for the reunion. Okay? And some of you say there's nothing wrong with that. There isn't. But it was very clear and it was very calculated that they were going to go after Lesa and Chanel during this reunion. And it was going to be four ladies. And to me, four ladies against two ladies, the two black ladies, the two fan favorites, it wasn't smart. And it was obvious that you guys have a prejudice. It was very obvious, and that's not entertaining. That wasn't entertaining. Let's talk about the real issues that you guys have with each other. Let's talk about Caroline Stanbury talking to Nina about you talking about me and telling these ladies all this crap about me. I'm not saying that you should be mad at her, but call her out. Like, why did you say those things about me? Let's talk about that. You may have moved on, but we also understand that when we recap and talk about these shows during reunions, we have to kind of go back to that moment, talk about how we felt in that moment. Yes, we may have moved on, but let's talk about it. It's not fun for us to be like, yeah, we've moved on, so let's not talk about it. No, this is what a reunion's for. So we can recap and talk about it. All right, so they talk about Sergio's soccer career, and some of you on Twitter, I know some of you on Twitter think that I'm going to engage in a back and forth with you. I would have to be really bored, or you've said something that really makes me think, oh yeah, I should respond. Or I have a clever comeback that I'm like, yeah, I'm not fighting back and forth with you guys when I tweet on Twitter. When I tweet on Twitter, I am just tweeting to the world. At the same time, I don't give a rat's mother ass what you got to say to me back. I'm just saying, I'm speaking my truth. I'm not going to fight with you. Yes, Sergio's soccer career, I don't know the sports like that, but I've done enough due diligence in regards to his soccer career to know that he was not a top tier soccer player. Top tier soccer player. First of all, he wasn't even like a second tier. He was like the lowest of the low. And he was on the bench, and he only played for like a year. You're telling me he turned that look, Sergio, tread light. I keep telling you, there's a lot of stuff that I don't talk about that people send me. Multiple people send me. There's a lot of stuff. That's not how Sergio made his money. Oh, and crypto. And here's the thing, we're not stupid. I think they think Bravo fans are stupid. They're not. They're body language experts. They're very intuitive. They can make sense of the things that they see. They are big soccer fans. And they're like, that doesn't make sense. You're really trying to make sense of something that doesn't make sense. You're really trying to figure out, okay, so this is how we're going to back up. This was his career. Oh, this is what the racist tweet was. And Sarah, your tech team, people are still trying to figure out what company you're talking about in your tech team. Everything that they were trying to say. Let's talk about the racist tweets. This was probably the most infuriating. Not infuriating. No, infuriating, because I didn't love the fact that all of these women, including Caroline Brooks, who we already know, if you follow on Twitter, was already on her spaces of 7 people. I'm joking. I had to. Because when Chanel said it, I was like, oh, damn. She had more than 7 people in her spaces. She was already saying, well, I thought, well, from what I could tell, you could tell that the link came from this Instagram and it was posted there. And Sarah said she hired her tech team, and her tech team discovered that, oh, he was famous. He was not famous anytime. I don't care if he was on a soccer team. He was never famous. He's not even famous now. We're still wondering what the hell he's doing on the show. But here's the thing. I know all of you are like, are the husbands going to be there? No, the husbands were not invited, according to sources. And I believe the reason why, because first of all, for the production to have Sergio in so many scenes, including a confessional, and not have the husbands on this reunion, said to me that Bravo wanted to steer clear of Sergio answering for himself, because as you know, Sergio's going to be like a humana. No, Sergio, why did you post it? And someone tweeted me yesterday, and I normally don't respond to people's tweets, and I didn't. But I'm going to respond here. I don't need Sergio to apologize to me for using the N-word. But there are plenty of black people, people of color, people that were offended. You don't even have to be a person of color or a black person to be offended by someone using the N-word and being in front of your face and not apologizing for it, because that says to me that you're not apologetic. And according to Lesa, because there are a lot of moments, if you don't pay attention to the reunion, that where the ladies are all talking at the same time, so you miss out on what someone may have said. Lesa and Chanel say in the reunion that he never apologized to them. Oh, he apologized to you, Caroline Brooks, because you were so easy to take that apology. And I know what you all are saying. Oh, because she's a... Caroline Stanbury saying, he's the least racist person I know. What's the least racist mean? Okay? My thing is, I don't want an apology if you don't mean it. Fine. Don't apologize. But we see each other. And I believe that he did say it. Was he just repeating? And someone else said on Twitter, well, I know people in Latin America may use the word. He's not from Latin America. He's from Spain. Right? From what I remember. He's from Spain. I don't even use the word. And I'm a black person. He doesn't need to apologize to me, but if you're going to be on a public platform, you need to apologize to the people that you offended, including the black women on your cast. And Bravo, we see you. And I've been hinting at this entire time. I was like, I wonder if the husbands are there. But I already knew the husbands weren't, because Sergio was posting while they were filming the reunion that he was out on the streets of New York. I believe Bravo decided not to have the husbands there because they didn't want him to answer to, very much like what happened in Roni. Bravo, you have a problem. You have a problem. And I'm sure any discrimination, any diversity specialist would tell you, no, we need to get in front of this. No, he needs to come on here, apologize to the viewers, and apologize to the ladies, all of the ladies. Because I'm sure Sarah would be offended. I'm sure Nina would be offended. Apologize to the cast. No, that's not brush it over. Not, I hired a tech team and they said it wasn't linked to this and that. None of what you said made sense. None of what you said, including, he was famous then. No, he wasn't. That was another lie. At one point, and I wrote this down at one point. See, there are little moments that you're not paying attention to, especially when Chanel Ayan told Nina to go eat a French fry and look at the moon. But there was another part. She was like, Chanel said, so this is a minion reunion. A minion reunion. Because you could see that all the ladies were just trying to cover for each other, instead of just allowing people to own their ish. But we'll move on. Sergio does crypto. So apparently he's helping her pay for this home. Look, there are all kinds of rumors about Caroline Stanbury, how she makes her money, her relationship with Sergio, how he makes his money. You want to sit there and lie? Go ahead. Go ahead. Let me just go through my notes so I don't forget anything. So I brought up the Chanel thing. Lesa. So Lesa is forced to defend her business. As you know, we covered Lesa and Caroline Stanbury going back and forth on social media when Lesa talked about her 8-figure business in Durham, and she says it's 7 figures in USD. Okay. Lesa has to defend her business because this is the moment where Caroline Stanbury is ready to blast Lesa for her business, and she says that Lesa stole designs. Lesa says, no, I've designed 90% of the designs for Mina Rowe. The other 10% they own the licenses for. Caroline Stanbury says that I have a friend who's done designs for Lesa, or I don't remember the exact word, but she's basically saying that Lesa stole this person's design. Well, you better call a lawyer, whoever this friend is. Call a lawyer. Don't call. Why would you allow someone to steal your designs? Oh, maybe the same way that Caroline Stanbury's shoe designs were stolen? Stolen? Because I don't know how that works in the fashion world, but I already know Kim Kardashian and the Kardashians have been called out for stealing designs, but they're not necessarily stealing because you can pay designers to design for you. Someone tell She by Sheree. As we saw with what Lesa said in regards to Mina Rowe. But she was ready for her because, as you know, this all played out on social media, so you knew that Caroline Stanbury was going to bring this up. But Caroline, you might want to check your own stuff. So some of the things that Caroline Stanbury brings up in regards to Lesa, she says that Lesa steals designs. She says Lesa's website doesn't get views. And Lesa brings her own receipt. She's like, this is from Facebook sales alone. And I wish Andy would have reacted to what he was looking at, because I don't know. Look, we know that Mina Rowe is doing well. We know that Mina Rowe has been worn by multiple celebrities, including Beyonce. But we also know that being on the show is going to do extremely well for Lesa. And Lesa has been very smart, because the fact that she came out with Miss Goat t-shirts, which have sold out, I didn't get one. But I don't even know, did they have men's sizes? I don't know. But Caroline, I just need you, if you're going to try and clap back at someone, have some solid information. Have some saying that someone's website views don't have views. Make it make sense a little bit more. To me, that doesn't make sense. What do you mean it doesn't have views? Can you tell me a period of time? Because clearly someone's buying Lisa's stuff. And now that she's on this show and she's worn her fashion, she's promoted multiple collections. See, that's the thing about Lesa. And that's why I feel like Lesa is the Candy Burris of Dubai. Because she's literally, she's like, you know what? My platform has done well, but it's going to do even better being on this show. So she's like, I'm not going to waste my time fighting back and forth with you guys. This is what we're selling on Mina Row. Go shop the fashions of all my looks this season. Girl is not, she's hustling because she's Jamaican. And I know a lot of you, or you're being nice to Lesa because she's Jamaican. No, you saw how I treated Sonia. I treated Sonia that way because I'm fair, in my opinion. Look, in my opinion, I'm fair because if Lesa, and I've called Lesa out for stuff. Lesa knows. I've called her out for stuff during the season. So if I felt a way about how Lesa was moving on the show, then I probably would have been like, well, Lesa, I didn't like this. I didn't like that. But no, Lisa's moving smart, at least when it comes to her business on the show. Okay. So they had that. They go back and forth on that. Then they do Caroline Brooks's, video package and things like that. She talked about her abusive relationship with Zoran, her husband. And I know Caroline Brooks, I hope after the reunion part 2 is done that you can get off of social media. Caroline finds the need to respond to every single person on social media. And I know the fans can appreciate some of that. However, some of the things that I end up seeing that you probably don't want me to see, Caroline Brooks, is because you're responding to them. Like that edited scene. Let's talk about it. Okay, elephant brain. Sound effect. Okay. So there's that edited scene, as some of you may have noticed. I retweeted it last week, where Sarah Almadani is getting into her car. And when she's in her car, you see the actual, I think it was like a Nissan, whatever. But then they show the outside of the car and they make it seem as if it's a Range Rover. So Caroline Brooks was like, oh no, that was my Range Rover. It was just a bad editing that they did. It was an editing mistake. No. According to multiple sources, the producers want all the ladies to seem like they lived that life. And not all of them do. And there's nothing wrong with a Nissan. We're not saying that. But I had to go back and watch this scene. I went back to watch the scene. No, the producers specifically, even before the clip that I reposted on Twitter, literally do not show the front of Sarah's car. They literally, they did that intentionally. They wanted to make it seem that she's driving a Range Rover for whatever reason. Dubai, they want them to feel like these ladies are living that life over there versus, Beverly Hills and things like that. And some of you have said, yeah. And some of you fall for it, which is fine. This is supposed to be for entertainment. This is not a docu-series. I guess it could be. I guess it is sort of a docu-series, but it's not a documentary. Okay, whatever. So we have that edited scene. Whatever. So they play Caroline Brooks's, package. We get to see that. And she talks about her relationship with her son. She talks about her relationship with Zoran and how it was physically and emotionally abusive and how her mom literally had to get her out of there. But they're in a better place now. He's found God. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Look, all right. But one of the funniest parts for me is, because you remember during the season, at the very top of the season, Chanel Ayan says that Caroline Brooks called her in the morning and basically was like, called her at 7 a.m. in the morning. She said, before I even peed. And it's terrorizing them. According to the ladies, she loves to call them in the morning, terrorizing them with drama. And she's like, well, I feel as if once the sun breaks, it's okay to call. She really is up. Like, I don't know when Caroline Brooks sleeps. I really don't. Because I feel like she's always up. Even when it's late here and it's like early morning or the middle of the night there in Dubai. But anyways. So Ayan and, okay. I just want to say, okay, Brooks and Sarah discuss their issues. So as you know, one of the big dramas of the season was Brooks and Sarah and their issues. And their issue was Sarah commenting on Caroline Brooks's parenting style. We've discussed this. We're not going to go into depth of discussing this again. They've moved on, they've made peace, and now they're up each other's you know what. They really are. I felt like this whole conversation could have been held, just handled a little bit better, because I feel like they've just said like, "Oh, but we've moved on. I love her." And I don't believe they love each other. And Sarah, I don't even know what to say here, because I know that you guys don't love each other, and Caroline Brooks is such a pot stirrer. You think that Caroline has your back, but she's also behind the scenes pot stirring. I said it. But any villain is supposed to, right? I guess. So they talk about that and they go back and forth on that. Look, at the end of the day, point blank period, everyone's parenting style, as long as it is not abusive, then to each their own. To each their own. And I do feel like Sarah is preachy and judgmental, and she was preachy and judgmental in that particular issue. Okay, so even her justifying it, I was like, no, they literally have footage of you saying what Caroline said, and regardless, Caroline felt a way about it, and you could tell in her face, despite her being drunk most of the time, you could tell she was like, yeah, you don't know. You don't know me that well to make those types of comments. You didn't know her that well to make comments about her parenting, and regardless, people are going to feel sensitive about parenting. Don't tell me how to raise my children. I cuss you out. So Ayan and Sarah discuss the kind tattoo. If you follow me on social media, this is why it's important to follow me on social media, because I'm not going to go in depth here. I'll just give you a brief overview. And this was another moment when I had to go back and watch the scene. And Andy, as someone who's hosting the reunion, I know you watched the show. I know you prepare for the show, but it sounded as if you did not watch this scene or understand what was happening in the scene, because I had to go back and watch myself. I was like, her writing kind on Ayan's arm, I don't remember her saying that, oh, you're a kind person, so I'm going to give you your tattoo. Again, we have to remember, this is an edited scene. We don't necessarily know how this all played out realistically, especially if they're editing scenes where they're trying to make you believe that she's driving a Range Rover. I don't trust what we see in front of us. Not in defense of Ayan, not in defense of Sarah. I just don't trust what's in front of us. So it may have been more to that scene that we didn't get to see. But when I play it back on how they played it out on the show, her writing kind on Ayan wasn't to say that you're kind. It was almost gaslighting. And in that conversation on the show between Andy Cohen and Sarah, let's be real, Ayan, great person. However, I think she also has a difficult time explaining herself or explaining her feelings. But when you think about the trauma that Ayan has gone through, you would understand why she would have a difficult time explaining her feelings. So that scene, I reposted that scene on my Twitter, because I was just like, I don't remember the scene playing out that way. Because if you based it off of what you see in the reunion, then you're like, Ayan, I think you overreacted. She was just writing kind on your arm. She wasn't saying that you were not kind. But if you see Ayan's response, she was like, kindness runs through my blood. So she didn't take it as Sarah saying that you are kind. She's saying, you can be just like me. You can be kind. Let me write it on your arm. She's like, I am kind. Perspective. There's so much to unpack here. I feel like I'm talking more here about the Real Housewives of Dubai than I did Beverly Hills. And it's because I really enjoyed this season of Dubai. Was it perfect? No. Far from perfect. Was a perfect Real Housewives season? Far from it. It could have been, though. It could have been. Okay. All right. Did I cover everything that I wanted? Oh, at one point, Sarah says that Ayan is creating a victim out of herself. And then Ayan responds, I am not a victim. And I'm glad she said that. I'm glad that she said that, because honestly, if she did say that she was a victim, I could well, you've been through a lot. You've been through a lot. And they're going to talk about all the things that Ayan has been through in part 2. Okay? Let me see. They also talk about Brooks and Ayan's relationship, their frenemy relationship, because excuse me, they really did have a friendship. And they talked about how they first met and how they didn't see it for each other. And they technically don't see it for each other, but they have this frenemy relationship, almost like Giselle and Karen, which is big to even label them. But I wish they would lean more into that and don't get to an ugly, dark place with each other. Because if you can learn how to navigate that friendship, that frenemy friendship, it could be quite entertaining. Brooks and Ayan, I know you both watch. This could be actually entertaining to lean into our frenemy and shading. Don't get too in your feelings if Ayan says something about you in her confessional. Brooks, again, don't get in your feelings if Ayan says something about you in her confessional. Don't get into your, don't. Just have that quick snapback. You know what I mean? And then be able to move forward. And Brooks, I feel like I thought you were going to play this out better, where you were straddling the fence or twerking on a fence better. I feel like, no, you were being one way with the ladies and then one way with the other ladies, instead of really being like, oh, I can see that. Or, you know what? You could have handled that better. But no, I feel like you were just saying what people wanted to hear. And that makes you look like a villain. That makes you look two-faced. But okay. So they talk about their friendship, and Ayan accuses Brooks of saying that she has a 5-year. See, these were moments that if you weren't paying attention, you would have missed. Because Ayan talked about how Brooks... I was paying attention. This is why I have to watch it twice. Because Ayan was spilling tea and y'all weren't picking it up. She says that not only did Brooks say that she has the brain of a 5-year-old, she also told Ayan before the show even started filming, people are not going to understand you. You shouldn't do the show. People are not going to understand you. In regards to the language barrier and her accent. They didn't want Chanel on the show. It's like they knew what we didn't know about Chanel. We've all seen it on the show, and we're like, wow, so glad that she was on the show. She was the best part of the season. And honestly, I can see why people say that, but I feel like everyone was necessary for the season. I loved having Lesa on the show. I loved, of course, having Ayan on the show, but I enjoyed those moments with Nina and Sarah. And Sarah, although there were some forced, pre-produced moments, there are her real life experience as an Emirati that I feel was important to have on the show. So I feel like they all played a role. Caroline Stanbury. Okay, what's the update on the Ladies of London lady who moved to Dubai? I want to see what that is. I don't want to see her husband constantly. Okay, let me talk about the husbands before I forget. I want to see the producers. I know you watch too. And I know some of you are like, Kempire, are you really in your ego? It must be that my Leo moon. But I also, y'all don't see my DMs. Y'all don't see the things that people say to me or email me or people that show up in our live chats. People are watching, and I appreciate it. I appreciate that. So producers, we don't need the Real Housewives of Dubai. We don't need them doing what we do in New Jersey unless it naturally happens. However, I need more Rich. I need more Chris. And I just don't see our BDE husbands, that's what I'm calling them, Rich and Chris. I don't see them interacting with the Sergio. Sergio seems immature. He seems like he has the brain of a 5-year-old. And I'm not trying to be offensive, but certain things that Sergio has said during the season, you're like, he can't be serious. As a grown man, he doesn't know how the function of a body works. Or you're like, read a book. Read a book. But I want to see the husbands a little bit more. I get it. These husbands are busy living their lives, and maybe they're just supporting their wives. But I need to see a little bit more. You can tell that Chris and Rich have a friendship, and they actually get along really well. I want to see more of it. I want to see that one little moment that we got of Rich calling Caroline Stanbury a 50-year-old influencer. We weren't ready for it, but I was like, oh, Rich it's that British humor too. Caroline Stanbury has that too. I want to see that. I want to see that play out. And I honestly would have loved to see the husbands on the show. And speaking of apologies, I'm a straight shooter. I would have loved to see Rich be on the reunion and apologize if he felt like he should apologize. Maybe he didn't feel like he needed to apologize. But apologize to Caroline Stanbury for calling her a 50-year-old influencer. It was funny for us, but I'm sure it wasn't funny for her. It could have been a moment for them to talk about that and answer for that. Chris probably wouldn't have said anything because Chris didn't do anything. But it would have been nice for Chris to talk about his relationship with Ayan and how that would work, his reaction to what Ayan went through. We see next week, Ayan's going to talk about, how the female mutilation, circumcision affected her sexual life with her husband. It would have been nice for Chris to be behind her, to hold her hand during that moment. Producers, what are you doing? This is not your first rodeo into Real Housewives. We needed the husbands. And the fact that you forced Sergio on us the entire season, you decided at the reunion, we're not going to have Sergio there. It makes me believe the only reason why you didn't have Sergio there was so that he didn't answer for the racist tweets. Just saying. All right, so we had Brooks and Ayan talk about their relationships, and they also talk about it's like two tops fighting. And for those that don't know the sexual terms for gay relationships, that's what they were referring to. Some of it probably went over your head, and then why Brooks was saying, no, I think Chanel's more of a bottom. Bottom where? Even Andy was like, no, she is a total power top. And so is Brooks. Brooks is too. Just saying. Oh wait, who would be a bottom on? Okay, Nina. Nina would be a bottom. Sorry, Nina. And Nina, Nina, I'm sure you get the gay terms too. I'm sure you got gay friends. I don't mean that in a derogatory way. That's a whole other conversation on the bottomization of gay men. That's a whole other conversation. We're not gonna go there though. There's nothing wrong with being a bottom. Just saying. But that if we were trying to explain what that is, that's what Chanel, even Lesa, top. Caroline Stanbury, top. Sergio, bottom. I kid. Sarah, top. There's a lot of tops on this situation. According to sources, Andy, top. How do I move on from this? Segue. What do I do? Let's just move on. Lesa, since we're talking about tops, let's talk about Lesa. Lisa's package. So they play out Lisa's, video package and things like that. I'm so glad that I waited to do this because the ice in the pool. So Lesa confirms, no, my pool can be heated. It can be, cooled, all that stuff. But it's a fun thing to do for the kids to get ice, like big cubes of ice, and throw it in the pool. So Caroline Stanbury says, I don't know of people that do that. Caroline, very much like Sergio, you need to clean up your social media. They literally find on Caroline's TikTok her doing the same thing.
How to cool down the pool in Dubai.
Son, I could get you satisfaction.
Throwing ice cubes.
Caroline.
Damn!
No. It's more like this.
Sloppy.
Caroline. Which again confirms for all of us that you're a liar. I've never heard of anyone doing that. My pool is cooled and heated. And according to Lesa, she said that's standard. I'm thinking standard for Dubai. That's not standard for the States, unfortunately. Okay, but moving on. Okay. So there was the battle of the ice thing. Miss Goat's death, they talk about. We still want an autopsy, Lesa. What happened to me? Okay, I didn't tell y'all this. I haven't had curry goat in years because I'm not a big meat eater. I'm still on a journey of maybe I'm going to be a vegan. Not sure, but I had me some curry goat. Yes, I did. After last week's episode, I had me some curry goat and it was delicious. It was tender with some rice and peas. Lisa says she doesn't know if she could have curry goat again, and she loves curry goat. I had it for you, Lisa. And it was tender. Okay, I already talked about Lisa being accused of stealing designs. I jumped ahead. So I'm going to end this here, but I want to know from you guys. You know what we do during our live recaps? We always do our ratings from 1 to 10. How would you rate this reunion? What was your reaction to some of the things that have played out during the reunion? Feel free to write a long post. You know, we love short and shady when you call in because, you know, look, I can't sit on live for hours. But in the comment section, feel free to break down all the different things that you want to talk about in regards to this reunion. Do you think the reunion was better than the season? Who do you want to see come back? Trust and believe, all those housewives are going to be in the comment section looking. Who do you want to come back? I think, based on what I've been hearing, all the ladies will be coming back, but trust and believe additional women will be added. And I kind of want to see more Emirati, but I think that's going to be difficult. I think that's going to be difficult, especially because of the show and the way the show is. But if we can get people that have been living there as long as people like Lisa and Chanel and Brooks, why not? Why not? Oh, damn, Nina. I didn't even talk about Nina. Nina, I didn't forget about you. I hope you stayed to the end of this video. Nina really didn't. Next week will be Nina's week. They didn't play Nina's, situation. But Nina has a fruitcake business because Lisa calls out and says, I'm the only one on here with a viable business. Sarah's like this. What about that tech company, Sarah? Caroline Stanbury, what is your business? Brooks is working on Glass House. Brooks, I'm just going to look away. I'm going to let you live this week. Okay, but Nina says she has a fruitcake business, and then Nina posted on her social media. This is why I'm kind of glad I waited to do my review, because now I've seen a lot more on social media. She has a fruitcake business, but as soon as she said fruitcake, I don't love fruitcakes. I was like, I don't want no fruitcake. But I saw Nina's fruitcake. Nina, can I order that for the States? I know you'll respond to me. But it looks good. It looks good. But she's an influencer as well. She does some influencing. Look, there's nothing wrong with being an influencer. Can we get away from that? And I think the reason why people make being an influencer a bad thing is because they're unhappy with their own lives. Because they can't make money doing that themselves. There's nothing wrong with it. There are people making millions of dollars influencing. Okay? I'm trying to get me into an influencer business. I mean, technically, there is a sector of what I do that's influencing. When we have brand sponsorships and I post on social, like that's being an influencer. I'm not 50 years old, but one day I will be, and I will be still influencing and making that cash and getting free hotel stays and what. Okay, this is not a hotel, but you guys, I miss having these live conversations with you. We will get back to this soon. I'm not going to tell you when, because you're all like, when? We will get back to live conversations soon, but you're still getting content. You're still getting content as always. Let's continue this conversation below. I want to know what you thought of the reunion, how you would rate the reunion, and what stood out to you the most. Let's have that conversation below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Thanks for watching.